I grew up in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro, until I was about 13 years old, just before my 13th birthday. A few months before I moved to the United States in California. And I started doing jiu-jitsu as a kid. Before I was born, my dad was already a black belt. And after I moved to the United States, I didn't have any friends because I didn't speak English, you know? But I came during the summer, so it was cool because I hung out at the Jiu-Jitsu Academy. I trained all day, and that's how I learned English over the summer. And then I went to school and kept training until now. I hope to keep training till I can't anymore. And when I started getting a little bit older, I wanted to go to class because I realized how valuable jiu-jitsu is. You know, when you're a kid and you see it around all the time, it's kind of just something. But once I realized that, I was maybe, I want to say when I moved to the United States is when I kind of thought, oh, I need to get good at this. And I started training a lot more and training twice a day through my whole teenagers. Then I wrestled. Then I started teaching again. And now I teach from 20 to 30 classes a week. The first jiu-jitsu classes I took, the first structure classes, were actually a master academy with Jacare, one of the alliance leaders, because their academy was next to my house, and where my dad trained at Gracie Muay Thai was further. So I was 5 years old, I used to go there, good, and so I say really training since I was 13 or 12 is when I really started training and trying to be good at jiu-jitsu, you know? So I want to cover some techniques that enforce a broader strategy, you know, having to do with connection, how Master Rickson talks about connection, how to connect your own body to itself, which means when somebody grabs your arm, for example, they shouldn't feel this. They have to feel your whole body weight behind your arm, so you have more leverage in your movement. You know, and connecting to your partner, which means when you touch them, your pressure is there and they can feel your body there. So throughout the moves today, I hope to get that concept through people's head, and that's something that really helped my jiu-jitsu. You know, you train for a long time, so you keep learning, and then you hit a plateau and you think you know stuff, and then you see new things and you learn more. So I think the last few years I've been working on these concepts as I've been training with Rickson a lot, and it really has helped me, my jiu-jitsu, not by doing different techniques or anything, but just having a better strategy on how to get my opponent to use more energy because I'm using my whole body to make each movement. So I hope they start to understand the connection concept and that you can learn from anything in jiu-jitsu. I think that's one of the biggest lessons I've had, is that even something totally negative, like someone takes you down, passes your guard, and chokes you in 30 seconds, there's a positive to take from that, you know? And I hope that everyone starts to understand this. This will help you last a long time in jiu-jitsu because, you know, when we lose or we get a bad day and everyone just squeezes you all day and you go home, you go, oh, why am I even doing this? A lot of people get these thoughts, you know, I'm never gonna be good. But if you think about, oh, let me think about how they squish me. Maybe I can learn that move, or maybe I can ask my teacher, how do I do a better strategy against this type of game, you know? There's always something to learn, and that's what keeps us motivated, I think, in jiu-jitsu. But I say the main thing is how it keeps my brain engaged, you know, and it's easy, but it's hard at the same time, you know, because you can do a technique at 60% proficiency and you work great if the other person doesn't know how to defend it. And then you get someone who's close to your level or higher level and you try that technique and it doesn't work. So that's something that you can work your whole life, you know, bump and roll, scissor sweep, are moves that we learned the first year of training. But trying to get maximum leverage for minimal effort. That you need to get a little bit better every day. So I hope to apply that in other parts of my life too, but in jiu-jitsu, it's visible and you have very specific things you can work on, right? You got choked, okay, how do I defend the choke? Or somebody took you down, you ask them after, oh, how'd you do that? That was a good move, and you learned something. So I think it's important to try to learn, even if it's a very small lesson, every time that you come in. And I try to do that, and That's what I love about jiu-jitsu. It keeps me interested and it helps me to become a better person, I think, you know? One thing that is very important that's different from jiu-jitsu to other martial arts is that it's all on leverage. It's based on leverage and timing, which a lot of martial arts also are, but it's battle tested, maybe every day. You know, I don't recommend training hard, like battling every day, because it's not gonna last a long time. But it's very important once you develop a move that you feel you're proficient at and you're getting good at it, that you try to get it on everyone, you know, and you have to try to train hard on those times, and you test, you see, you go, oh, I thought I was good at this, I can't get this at. What do I have to do different, you know? And the way that jiu-jitsu, you're able to train hard and train for a long time, I think is great and makes it the best martial art, the best sport to practice, because wrestling, I'll use wrestling as an example, you know? I know many wrestlers, they can't train anymore because the way that you train wrestling is explosive, is athletic. You hit the ground, you get up, you take down, you have impact. So jiu-jitsu gives you a chance to practice through your 80s if you know how. That's the hard part, I think. I think we battle too much instead of trying to learn. So some days, you know, if you worked hard last week or if you lifted a lot of weights the day before, it's not the day to train hard. It's the day to go slower. And if people get you, that's fine, as long as you see what's going on. You know, I think that ability to train with little impact and still do something that's efficient really takes jiu-jitsu apart from other martial arts. And the main thing, though, is the efficiency of jiu-jitsu strategy in a fight. You know, it's very hard to knock someone out. Once you close the distance, you have knee strikes, you have a headbutt, and they don't have a lot of power to knock you out. So I would say be positive. If I was to say one thing, just be positive, and everyone has the same struggles you're having at every belt, you know. Another thing that we feel in jiu-jitsu, we think me. I'm getting smashed, I can't do anything. And a lot of times that's not the case. A lot of times you can't do anything, but neither can they. So you're at a stalemate, you're not stuck, you know? So I would tell them be positive and take one step at a time, that's it. The way you learn jiu-jitsu is not like you learn other things where you think about it a lot. Yes, you should think about jiu-jitsu and all that, but when you don't have a partner, you can't tell if what you're thinking about is actually gonna work, you know? The way you learn jiu-jitsu is by teaching your body. So I like to imagine my body like a robot, and my brain is teaching the robot this movement. And if it does enough times, my body will be able to react in the way that I want, you know? So don't think too much, just do it. The two things I'll say is, if you're gonna train hard, have a hard week or a training camp for a tournament, a few weeks training really hard, 6 weeks, whatever. But mostly I like to do a hard week, a medium week, a easy week. And the easy week doesn't mean I don't train, I just train technical. I pick smaller partners, I pick people that know how to flow, and sometimes I train in the kids class on those weeks, you know, because I teach the kids, and that's a great lab to work on your movements. Something that's a little bit below that, but it's very important also, is you have to practice when you're hurt. Jiu-jitsu takes, Hickson says this, you know, he says, man, the bad thing about jiu-jitsu is it takes a lifetime to master it, and then your body is not the same anymore. By the time you know the techniques, your body is not as athletic, you know? So I think you have to train when you're injured, not train hard. But you broke your wrist, the doctor said keep it mobilized. Okay, keep it mobilized. Come in, get a drilling partner, put your feet on their biceps and practice the movement, you know? Practice to shrimp a little bit. And we don't have the concept of how much timing and technique we lost until we get back on the mat. So if you get hurt, you take a month off. You know, I've been having this muscle cramp on my calf, I'm gonna take a month off. That sets you back a lot, especially when you think about your training partners getting better than you, right? That's something my dad always said he used to think about. I used to get him, he would work all day and go train jiu-jitsu, you know? And I said, weren't you tired? Sometimes you work 10 hours? He goes, yeah, but I was thinking of the other guys getting better than me, and that got me in there, you know? So whatever motivation you can find, but get on the mat, don't train hard all the time, and train when you injured. I would say are important things. No, that's it. I'm excited to be here. I just like coming to Michigan, especially at this time of the year. The weather is just like California. So it's really nice and excited to have a great seminar.
Awesome.
Today.
Thank you so much.
All right, thanks, Scott.